Live and on demand from the WNY News Now studios in downtown Jamestown. This is News Now at noon.
Now at noon, Jamestown police continue to ask for the public's help in identifying suspects in a violent home invasion robbery. And New York State Assemblyman Andy Goodell joins us in studio. But first, we check in with Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter.
Well, happy Tuesday. I'm a day behind. It's Wednesday. I'm a day behind myself. But we are finally halfway through the week, and the weekend is just starting to get in view. So hang on. 64 degrees was the high at the airport yesterday. Again, we should be around 72 this time of the year, just to give you a kind of a reference of where we should be. We're going to be nowhere near the records today, and no rain officially yesterday. But again, I mentioned it yesterday, that sunset time is getting closer to 7 o'clock, and before you know it, it'll be here at 6 o'clock, and yeah. So you know that's coming. The pollen levels, again, everything is looking good except the weed pollen. That is what we're dealing with, the ragweed pollen. That is what we're dealing with. So if you've been, having allergy attacks, that is your main culprit right there. It's that ragweed pollen. So mostly cloudy to overcast today. Pretty much gray, gloomy, dark. That's going to be the story throughout the day today. A bit warmer than yesterday, and the humidity will slowly start to creep up throughout the end of the week. 72 to 75 with a northeast wind 3 to 6 miles per hour. We will take a look at the current track of Florence and plus that quick solutions, that's a mouthful to say for some reason, 7-day forecast a little bit later on in the show. Justin.
Dakota, thank you. Investigators with the Jamestown Police Department continue to look into an armed home invasion robbery on Chautauqua Avenue. Jamestown Police Captain Robert Samuelson releasing this video asking for the public's help in identifying these two men who police say broke down the door, then assaulted a woman inside. One of the males you see there brandished a pistol. The men are seen wearing hooded sweatshirts with their faces partially concealed. Investigators ask anyone with information to contact their tip line at 483-8477. And city police are also warning residents that credit card skimmer devices may be in use around the area and the town of Ellicott. A skimming device is an electronic card reader that is illegally connected to a gas pump, ATM, or vending type machine. Police say the devices can sometimes be visible on those machines. If you notice a device connected, contact police immediately. And a Fredonia man was facing 4 counts of rape after Chautauqua County Sheriff's deputies say he engaged in sexual acts with a juvenile. A warrant was issued for 27-year-old Joshua Northrop Dahl on Monday. He was remanded to Chautauqua County Jail in lieu of bail. And a Salamanca woman is facing charges after New York State police say she threatened to kill a man with a gun in the village of Little Valley this week. 19-year-old Destiny Harvey was allegedly posted on social media that she was going to use a gun to kill a Little Valley man. Troopers said that Harvey also called the victim and repeated those threats. She was placed under arrest, processed at the New York State Police Barracks in Jamestown, and is scheduled to appear in the town of Napoli court later this month. New York State will send 50 airmen from the rescue wing of the state's Air National Guard to help with the response to Hurricane Florence. The storm will impact North and South Carolina along with Virginia starting late tonight. Forecasters say the storm will bring massive waves, damaging winds and rains to that region. Mandatory evacuations there are already underway. The Jamestown Red Raider Marching Band will host their 40th annual Fall Festival of Bands this weekend. Schools from across the state and Pennsylvania will perform on Saturday, September 15th at 6:30 at Strider Field. The Red Raiders will perform their 2018 show Cannon. For more information, check out our web story at WNYNewsNow.com. Coming up next, New York State Assemblyman Andy Goodell joins us live to talk about his re-election campaign and what's going on in the state capitol. After this. The Fitness Bunker in Lakewood is a locally owned and operated club that cares about your health and wellness. They invest in it. Right now, enter their 30-day challenge, where for only $69, you get 30 days of unlimited everything. That's right, everything, along with 2 one-on-one personal training sessions. Then, if you lose 10 pounds, you'll get the next month free. Plus, the first place winner will get 2 Buffalo Bills tickets or a $100 gift card. Details right now on the Fitness Bunker's Facebook page.
The Doubletree by Hilton is looking for employees in the Jamestown area. Join them at a number of job fairs this September. From servers, bartenders, cooks, and housekeepers, the hotel has many positions to fill. Applicants must bring a resume and cover letter. Arrive prepared to interview.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
For more than 2 decades, Dorler Landscape Designs has provided exceptional service to customers right here in Chautauqua County with one goal in mind: transform your lawn into an attractive landscape that will be the envy of the neighborhood. From landscape design to lawn maintenance to sprinkler installation and so much more. Count on Dorler Landscaping. Call us today and let us get to work for you. Dorler Landscaping Designs at dorlerlandscape.com.
Brought to you by the people giving hope at Gifts Decor and More. With the controversial kratom, Gifts Decor and More is giving hope to Southern Chautauqua County residents, one visit at a time.
And welcome back to New and Noteworthy on this Wednesday. Dakota thought it was a Tuesday. That's not quite the case.
I actually did too this morning.
You did?
Yes.
Oh gosh, don't go back in the week.
I'm sorry.
Go forward in the week. We got a great show. New York State Assemblyman Andy Goodell joins us live in studio. Thank you for being here with us, sir.
It's great to be here with Western New York Live.
Yeah, this is such a we've had a lot of good political conversations. Last week we had the sheriff's candidates coming on. There's a lot of big statewide elections, including yours, this fall. How is the campaigning going?
Well, the campaigning's going really well from my perspective. I've been getting excellent news coverage on the initiatives that we've had. For example, I've introduced legislation to deal with the ethics issue by banning pay to play. This last week I got coverage over the fact that I'm a co-sponsor on bipartisan legislation to deal with helping prevent child abuse. It's the Child Protection Act of 2017 and 2018. So that's very positive. I've been receiving some great support through the community. I just recently received the endorsement of the teachers throughout Chautauqua County, which was very gratifying because I've co-sponsored legislation dealing with taking away the high-stakes testing on Common Core, dealing with the APPR, which is the annual performance assessment review process for teachers. And of course, Senator Young and I have been strong advocates on increasing school funding. On the big picture, as you know, since you cover the news so often, Chautauqua County really is on the move. It was exciting to see the Comedy Center open, a nice boost to the Jamestown economy. We're right in the middle of construction in the north end with the Athenix plant, which is going to be 1/3 of a million feet under one roof. It'll be probably the second largest manufacturing facility in our county, and a lot of positive economic development news.
And we've spoke to George Borrello before about people say, well, there's really no jobs here specifically in Chautauqua County, but there are. right now. It's just companies are having a hard time finding workers. In general, New York State's unemployment rate is it's behind. Employment is lagging behind nationally, but there are opportunities here that you've worked on to try to get in Chautauqua County, right?
Absolutely. We have hundreds of new jobs that are becoming available now, both in the tourism industry. As you know, we had the Harbor Hotel in Celeron open up. Great job opportunities there. Cummins is at a record high employment level, and they're doing phenomenally well. Fieldbrook Farms in the north end, they've added a new production line and new facilities there. They're hiring. Ralston Purina in Dunkirk is at all-time employment highs. So there's a lot of opportunities. And as a state assemblyman, part of my role is to make sure that we have the funding available and the support available on the state level to help those organizations like the Workforce Development Board and JCC and JBC and others, making sure that we have the employees with the skills to fill those positions. And it's a good challenge to be in, where we're struggling to keep up with the training in order to get people employed, but there's a lot of employment opportunities out there.
Switching gears a little bit, earlier you were talking about the C word, corruption. And if possible, could you see the state bringing an independent council in to take a look at stuff like the Buffalo Billions and all that good stuff?
Very interesting. A couple years back, you may recall that Governor Cuomo established an independent commission to investigate corruption. It was called the Moreland Commission. And he did that to investigate corruption involving the Speaker of the Assembly, Sheldon Silver, who ultimately, by the way, was arrested and convicted through the efforts of the U.S. Attorney's Office, and also a few others. Well, he promptly disbanded that commission as soon as they started looking at his campaign and issues involving potential corruption involving his administration. I'm very disappointed that I have not seen the district attorney in Albany County taking any affirmative action. We've seen a lot of positive enforcement action by the U.S. attorney when it was Preet Bharara who ran it. Hopefully that will continue. So I am very, very supportive of all efforts to root out corruption. And on a legislative level, I mentioned I've introduced legislation to ban pay for play, which is a source of a lot of the corruption. But I voted in favor of much more stringent disclosure requirements, which I obviously comply with. So if anyone wants to know the details of my finances, they're welcome to look it up. I've also supported legislation and a constitutional amendment that would enable the state to remove the pension of a convicted public official. Now that legislation takes effect going forward. It does not apply retroactively, so it's very frustrating to see the former Speaker of the Assembly, Sheldon Silver, a Democrat leader of the Assembly, in jail, getting free room and board at taxpayer expense, and collecting a $90,000 a year pension. But we've ended that. We won't let that happen in moving forward. So, yeah, certainly more needs to be done. More focus on independent investigations would be helpful, but I hope that the U.S. Attorney's Office will continue their efforts as well. And as you know, this year, it was shocking. We saw the governor's top aide convicted of bribery and a kickback scheme. We saw the governor's top economic development official convicted as part of the Buffalo Billion. And it's amazing when you see all these top officials going to jail for corruption.
And you look at that from Albany. A lot of people, I think, in local government, anyways, seem to be fed up with the corruption and also the unfunded mandates that it seems like come down and affect us here in Chautauqua County. Are you doing anything to try to ease back on unfunded mandates that are putting a strain on local budgets from the county level all the way down to villages and towns?
Absolutely. As you know, this last year I've served as the minority floor counsel on the floor of the Assembly. And so that means part of my role is to organize all the debate on the floor of the Assembly. And one of the top things we debate are every bill that imposes a new unfunded mandate. And a lot of times there are good ideas behind the bill. Our position has always been, if it's a good idea and it's worth it, then the state should pay for it, not force the local government to pay for it. On the success side, another assemblyman, Phil Palmisano from the Corning area, and I worked together jointly to collect over 60 co-sponsors a few years ago on legislation that would cap the Medicaid growth in Chautauqua County. And Medicaid is the largest single mandate anywhere in the state that affects your county property taxes. And it took us 3 years, but eventually we got the state to cap Medicaid growth. Now that saves Chautauqua County about $776,000 the first year, and then that doubled, tripled, it continues to grow by $776,000 a year. We have saved Chautauqua County taxpayers with that measure alone several $1 million that they'd otherwise be paying on their property taxes. Along the same line, as you know, we've also capped school taxes with a school tax cap and a tax cap that applies to all municipalities. Recognizing that we still have a lot of challenges in the education field, Senator Young and I, and it's a great working partner. She's the chair of the Senate Finance Committee, which makes it great to have someone in that position for Chautauqua County. But together we've worked very hard to increase school aid in Chautauqua County. And the school aid in Chautauqua County, which keeps your local taxes lower, has been about double or triple the rate of inflation. Now, I don't know how long we can keep that up, but it's certainly a welcome relief to all the local taxpayers.
Taking a shift again in topics, Larry Sharp, the Libertarian candidate for governor, said he will let the SAFE Act die by pardoning anybody convicted by it, and he wants to tell police it's going to be low priority by not funding it. Since both parties continue to fund the SAFE Act, is it safe, no pun intended, to say it's here to stay?
Well, interestingly, as you know, on the floor of the Assembly, I helped lead the debate against the SAFE Act. And I was particularly appalled that they waived the 3-day notice requirement so that no one in the public had an opportunity to present any views on it. They debated literally in the middle of the night. And the SAFE Act primarily focuses on semi-automatic rifles. The year the SAFE Act was passed, there were only 4 recorded murders in the state of New York using a rifle. So it was a huge imposition on all lawful rifle owners. Really, it was all political show. Now, there's 2 parts of the SAFE Act. One part requires registration. The state police have basically not enforced that, and it's generally acknowledged that the registration requirement is widely ignored. The second component, though, strengthened the mental health reporting and evaluation process. And I support the mental health evaluation process because the issue is not whether or not your semi-automatic rifle has a scope or a flash suppressor. That's not the issue. The issue is who's behind the rifle, and are they mentally stable, and are they acting in an appropriate manner. So whether the governor offers pardons or not doesn't make a lot of difference, because about the only time anyone's been arrested in the state of New York for not complying with the SAFE Act is when they were being arrested in conjunction with other crimes anyway. So the level of enforcement by the police has been very low. I anticipate it will continue to be low. I continue to oppose any funding for the SAFE Act, and I thought it was all political show with no real substantive improvements other than the mental health provisions.
And we do have to get you a break, but we wanted to squeeze in one more question. Many people who live in this area feel a great disconnect with Albany and New York City, in particular, many people feel that New York City controls the state capital. Is that a valid feeling, and how do we get away from that?
Well, the good news is those who live in Chautauqua County are the furthest away from Albany geographically. that you can be and still be within the state. Ironically, there's about 9 state and local and federal, 9 state and federal capitals that are closer to us right now than Albany, including Washington, D.C. So yeah, there is that distance.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt that the New York City Democrats, who are very liberal, especially compared to us, I mean, the New York City Democrats are more liberal than the most liberal Chautauqua County Democrat. They control the assembly. The good news is that currently the Republicans control the Senate. And whether you're a Republican or Democrat, I think we both recognize the value of having checks and balances. And so now here we are in the farthest corner of the state, and you have Senator Young, who's the chair of the Finance Committee, the 3rd most powerful senator in the entire state, and as your assemblyman, I'm the assembly floor leader, which is the 2nd highest ranked Republican in the assembly. So even though we're in the far corner, our voice is heard in Albany. But it is a constant challenge having to address these very left-wing ideas that are coming out of New York City. Things like making it illegal for our law enforcement to cooperate with immigration officials when an illegal immigrant commits a crime against one of us. And my New York City colleagues want to make it illegal for our law enforcement to help deport a convicted criminal,
Right.
which doesn't make sense to me. You have New York City also supporting the single-payer system, which would raise our taxes by an estimated $226 billion. That's 450% increase in your taxes.
Right.
And it would just, in addition to causing 175,000 people to lose their job off the beginning, would result in a huge exodus of employers from this state. So we're getting these left-wing radical ideas coming out of New York City. So far, the Senate has been able to perform a valuable role in checks and balances.
Assemblyman Andy Goodell is going to stick around, and we'll check in with the comments coming up after this. Turn to Brotherhood Property Maintenance for all your lawn care and landscaping needs. Serving both commercial and residential lots. Check out Jamestown's fastest growing landscaping crew on Facebook or call us now to book an appointment.
WNY Sports Now is powered by Phone Zone of Jamestown. With the largest inventory around, we buy and sell our own merchandise at a price that can't be beat. Have a broken screen? We'll fix it. Learn more at phonezoneshop.com. You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first. First Defense Weather is sponsored by Quick Solutions of Jamestown. Count on Quick Solutions for printing, copying, mass mailings, and so much more. Part of your team. Learn more at QuickSolutionsUSA.com. That's QuickSolutionsUSA.com.
First Defense Weather, the Southern Tier's only live and local weather source. Now, here's Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter.
All right, welcome back to News Now on this Wednesday. I finally got the date right, or the day of the week right. As we take a look at the rain over the next 5 days, the probability of rain over the next 5 days, again, it will be kind of going up a little bit as we go to the end of the week as the heat and humidity start to come back. But the good news is the weekend is looking mainly dry as of right now. So that is the good news, a good time for the weekend. And hey, we have football Saturday coming up. It's Jamestown versus Kenmore West at Kenmore. So if you're going to Buffalo to the game, this is what you can expect. I have kind of taken the numbers down a little bit just by about 2 or 3 degrees. But again, it's not going to be bad, but it will be a bit more humid. So again, 77 to 81 throughout the game, and that is at 2 o'clock at Kenmore West in Buffalo. So if you have plans to go out to the game out there. First Defense Doppler radar, again, we're clear across western New York. The remnant low of what was Gordon is kind of way up here now over in New England, and this is kind of what's left of it now. But again, we're going to be dry today, but no big rays of sunshine. I think it's mainly going to be cloudy to mostly cloudy. Live look outside, HD News Now Cam. The clouds really just sucked in. 68 is the current temperature at the airport with a dew point of 62. So again, that humidity will start to creep up a little bit as we go through time. Here is Hurricane Florence. And again, the center of circulation is still incredible. Again, look at that eye wall. That is still a incredible strong circulation. It's got winds of about 130 miles an hour, still of around 60, and the pressure has dropped from yesterday to 943. 3. So again, that is a sign that the system is starting to strengthen here. And this is the official forecast track from the National Hurricane Center. It's going to remain a Category 4 storm as it approaches the coastline. Again, now some of the models still have it going to a low end 5. It's still a possibility. But again, now this is a big change in the forecast track from yesterday. They have actually shifted the track to the south to be more in line with the European ensemble model. And again, so now the landfall looks like it's probably going to be somewhere near the North or South Carolina border, now a little bit further south, and then it'll start to weaken off into a storm as it'll start to weaken off into a tropical storm as it makes landfall. Again, it doesn't matter if this makes landfall as a 4, a 3, or a 2. It doesn't matter. This, I think, is going to be a big deal. And again, I've been saying it all week. I just don't like the way this looks. And the biggest issue is going to be from storm surge. Again, storm surge is essentially high waves that crash ashore due to the winds coming off. And again, this storm is moving perpendicular to the coastline. And again, when you have a storm that moves perpendicular to the coast, essentially you get higher waves at shorter distances. Now, if the storm was moving parallel to the coast, then you would have shorter waves at longer distances. So again, this is mainly going to be the big threat. It's that storm surge flooding on the coastline and inland areas as well. So it's something that we're really going to keep an eye on as we go into the end of the week, into the weekend. So hour by hour for today, clouds really just socked in. The temperatures at least will be in the 70s, not too far off from where we should be this time of the year, and just a little bit of humidity, but it will start to go up a little bit more in a bigger way as we go toward the end of the week into the weekend. Your future, next 7 days of your life on Earth. 79 Thursday, and again, chance for a few rain showers both Thursday and Friday, and that humidity comes back once again. But hey, dry weekend. Now Tuesday, there is the potential we could see some tropical remnants from Florence as it kind of moves up our way. It's not definite, but again, the rain chance for Tuesday mainly is related to that, and temperatures will start to come back to about average. We will take a break and be right back.
The weather is heating up, and so are the deals at Express Bike and Auto, right here in Jamestown, located at 1761 Foot Avenue Extension. They are your one-stop shop for all of your vehicle, ATV, and motorcycle needs. They even sell vehicles, and guess what? Financing is available. So what are you waiting for? Get to Express Bike and Auto right here in Jamestown at 1761 Foot Avenue Extension now.
The Frewsburg Pharmacy is the small-town pharmacy with big-time service. Located at 26 West Main Street, Greg Nelson treats his customers like family, so you know you are in good hands when you walk through the door. The Frewsburg Pharmacy has everything you need and more, including a gift shop for the seasons. Stop down to the Frewsburg Pharmacy today and let the staff show you why the Frewsburg Pharmacy is the pharmacy that cares about you.
Hey, this is Ryan Hedrick reporting from the Jamestown Bowling Company, where the bowling is off the hook, the food is even better, and the camaraderie watching sports is oh so great.
The food is fantastic and the drinks are cold.
Mark was bowling almost a perfect game. Mark, do you come here a lot?
Every day.
Wow, Mark comes here every day. No excuse for you not to get to Jamestown Bowling Company on Foot Avenue. Jamestown Bowling Company. Eat, drink, bowl, and be merry.
I just love to be with the dogs, and I like to do them one at a time. They don't wait for 5 hours in my shop. I have full groom, which includes everything from A to Z, nails, of course brushing, any trimming that needs to be done. I do offer teeth brushing, which is a little extra. So if he takes me 2 hours, it's $40. If he takes me 3 hours, I still keep it down. As long as the dog comes back happy and not at the door, I'm happy.
And welcome back to News Now, New and Noteworthy. Final moments here with New York State Assemblyman Andy Goodell. Don chiming in on Facebook saying, what is currently in place for laws and action against bullying in our schools? Any changes coming soon?
Well, bullying has gotten a lot of attention in the state legislature and in our school districts all across the state, because we know that bullying has a lot of negative impact on other students as well as outcomes, and has also been, in fact, it's been associated with some of these mass killings when it turned out that some of the kids that came back to school with a gun were the victims of bullying. So a lot of attention has been directed in that area. In addition to funding, which we provide to the schools for that purpose, Most of the schools have developed anti-bullying practices and are moving forward aggressively to implement those practices. That's a process that I strongly support. And if there's anyone in our listening area that has a particular problem with bullying, absolutely they should step up, contact the school officials, the school principal, or the superintendent, or if necessary, go to the Board of Education. Deal with it straight up. And sometimes kids are reluctant to report bullying because they're afraid that the person who's bullying them will take revenge. Our experience and the professionals' experience is the opposite. If you don't stand up and stop it, it will continue. So if they have a particular question or a problem with a particular child, please, please, please step forward, make sure the school administration knows about it and is taking affirmative steps. The laws are in there. Now, if the bullying goes too far, the child who's doing the bullying could be subjected to a number of quasi-criminal sanctions. We don't arrest and convict kids that are under age 18 of crimes, but they can be sent into juvenile detention, a PINS petition, person in need supervision. There are a number of other, they can be physically removed from the school and put into a special education program. So there's a number of programs designed to stop bullying and, if necessary, remove the bullier from the school.
What wise words there that in many instances can save lives of young people in our community. Assemblyman Andy Goodell, that's all the time we have for it, but of course I want to tell everyone, drop their questions in the comments, and we're going to do an overtime segment on our website, WNYNewsNow.com, where we have a lot more to talk about, so he'll be sticking around for that. That's it for us today. We, of course, are back tomorrow. In the meantime, news continues all the time at WNYNewsNow.com. Have a great day.
Keep my hands on myself.